to read The Elves and the Shoemaker. All right, and this story, remember, is a fairy tale. So it's a story that lots of friends have heard before. And this one is adapted by, so it means this author took a story that everybody knows and made it her own. And her name is Mara Alperin. And it is illustrated by, what does it mean when somebody is the illustrator, friends? They drew the pictures. Great job. And it's illustrated by Erica Jane Waters. This is called The Elves and the Shoemaker. In an old, shabby shoe store, there lived a shoemaker, Stan, and his wife, Jan. Even though they were poor, they were very happy because they loved making shoes. Shoes for walking and shoes for jumping, shoes for skipping, and best of all, shoes for dancing. Every day, Stan and Jan worked hard making shoes for their little store. And every evening, they slipped on their favorite dancing shoes and waltzed the night away. The villagers loved to watch them dance, and before long, people young and old twirled and whirled along with them. All summer long, the shoemakers danced, sharing their joy with everyone around them. But soon, the bitter winter came, and as the weeks passed, fewer and fewer customers stopped by to buy shoes. What will we do, worried Stan? Soon we will have no money left and no more firewood. The shop grew quieter and quieter. That night, Stan and Jan huddled by the tiny fire, their fingers too cold to sew and their feet too frozen to dance. "Let's go to bed," Jan chattered. "Maybe we'll think of something in the morning." But in the morning, they woke up to find the most magnificent pair of shoes, leaping laces. "Who made these?" marveled Stan. Before they could think of an answer, the door opened and in marched their first customer in weeks. "Good day," cried the customer. "My name is Mr. Morris. I spy these splendid shoes in the window and I simply must have them." The shoes fit perfectly. So Mr. Morris paid Stan a handful of gold pieces and skipped merrily away in his new shoes. Delighted, Stan went to the market to buy some food and firewood. And that night, the shoemaker and his wife danced with joy once again. The next morning, they found 3 new pairs of shoes, even more magnificent than the last pair. Stan and Jan could not believe their eyes. But just then, "Greetings, shoemakers. I am Mr. Mack, and I have heard tales of your marvelous shoes." "Why, they're even more fabulous than I imagined," he bellowed. "I will buy them all. 1 pair for me, and the others for my horse Toby." So Mr. Mack filled the shoemaker's pocket with gold coins and galloped off. Are those the kind of shoes that horses wear? I guess so in fairy tales, huh, friends? From then on, there were shiny new shoes every morning. Soon the store was warm and filled with customers every day. One day, Jan said, "We still don't know who is helping us. I wish we could thank them." Then Stan had a wonderful idea. Why don't we stay up and find out? So that night, Jan and Stan hid behind the curtains. They waited and waited and waited until, as the clock struck midnight, 3 tiny elves slipped in through the keyhole and tiptoed across the room. The elves got to work with a stitch, 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 and a rap, a tap, tap. And as they worked, they sang, "We love jumping, leaping, and prancing. We were sad when you stopped dancing. So in we crept while you were dreaming, making new shoes bright and gleaming." All night the elves sewed until the sun began to rise. And then, quickly, quietly, they slipped back through the keyhole. A keyhole in a door is right where you put the key to unlock it. It's not very big, friends. You can check out your doors at home. Stan and Jan were so surprised by what they had seen. "What delightful little elves," Stan whispered. "We must repay their kindness." "Let's make them their own little dancing shoes," said Jan. "And some dancing clothes, too." So the next morning, that's just what they did. Jan knitted a tiny sweater using tiny needles and sewed on apple seeds for decoration. Stan crafted tiny shoes from dandelion leaves and laced them up with daisy stems. Dandelions and daisies are kinds of flowers. And together they made little pointy hats finished with the tiniest pom-poms. At midnight, Stan left the tiny package on the workbench just before the 3 little elves crept inside. And they left a little note for our very special helpers. "May you dance the night away. With love, Jan and Stan." When the elves saw their new clothes, they were overjoyed. That means they were so happy. They giggled and wiggled and danced all night in the moonlight. But as the stars faded, the 3 little elves tiptoed away and vanished into the night. That was the last time the shoemakers ever saw the elves. But their kindness was never forgotten, and Stan and Jan danced every night with their friends, just in case the elves ever returned. And who knows, maybe one day they will. The end. Remember, friends, if you like stories like this or want to check out other fairy tale books, you can certainly always check your local library. All right, time to go back